Hey, welcome back. In this video, we're going to talk about personal freedom and social responsibility and the relationship between the two. One of the best gifts God has given you and that society has given you is your personal freedom. But you know what else is also one of the greatest gifts you've ever received? The community that you are a part of. All the way from the level of the family to the level of national institution. The thing is, it is very easy for us to value personal freedom, even worship personal freedom to the point where we disregard the responsibility that we have towards the people around us. Everything may be permissible, but not everything is beneficial. One thing to understand is that some of the guidelines that work on an individual level do not necessarily work on an institutional level. I remember having this conversation with a man by the name of John Kulaga, who is the president of Ohio Christian University, and in our conversation he told me, Jesus said, turn the other cheek. That's great advice. That's a great instruction on an individual level, on a personal level. But it would be a very bad government political policy. I mean, if another country starts bombing you, it would be immoral, in fact, to turn the other cheek. The reason for this is because there are so many other factors on the institutional level than there are at the individual level. What this tells me is that there are some things that you have the freedom to do and have on your individual level that you would need to sacrifice for the sake of others. Here's the thing. Social responsibility does indeed require the restricting of personal freedom, but it doesn't mean the eradication of freedom. In fact, responsibility in itself inherently requires the presence and the utilizing of that freedom. If you are not free, if a certain society does not allow you the exercise of your free will, you do not have responsibility. You are a slave to that society. You can't be responsible if you aren't free. Social responsibility is an act, an attribute of individual freedom. Which brings me to the main point that I want to make today. Get this. The true sign of personal freedom and free will is the laying down of that freedom for the sake of others. The true sign of freedom is not the ability to do whatever you want whenever you want. Yes, you may be able to do that, but it's not the true sign of the freedom that you have inherently. The true sign of freedom, I say again, is the freedom to lay it down for the sake of others, to voluntarily restrict, place borders around what you would do and what you wouldn't do for the sake of others. This reminds me of what Jesus said in John chapter 10 when he was talking about being the good shepherd and the gate of the sheep. Near the end of chapter 10, he says, I lay down my life, only to take it up again. No one takes it from me. I lay it down of my own accord. He says, I have the authority to lay it down and the authority to take it up again. No one takes it from him. He voluntarily lays it down of his own accord. That can only happen through the exercise of personal freedom and free will. So yes, living in community does require the restriction of personal freedom. But here's the beautiful thing. It is through that restriction that we can bring about greater collective freedom. It is the restriction of your individual freedom that is necessary for the possibility of a collective freedom. It's funny how that works.